I'd like to call to order this Liberal City Commission meeting on this Tuesday, November the 11th. We have roll call, please.
Mayor Denoyer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Aragon.
Here.
Commissioner Harrison.
Here.
Commissioner Wilhelman.
Present.
And Commissioner Warren.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
All right, would you please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please bow with me. Heavenly Father, Lord God, we just thank you for this day that we have to remember, to honor our veterans, those who have fought and died for the freedoms that we can gather and we can come together and that we can just share in the liberties that we so often take for granted. Father, be with us tonight as we make decisions for the city, for the entire city. Lord, just guide us and direct us. For it's in Jesus' name that I pray. All right, first item up on the agenda is awards, proclamations, and presentations. We do have one. It's for National Education Week, and at this time I would like to call Daniel Mindy to the front, please. We'll read the proclamation. All right, the proclamation reads, whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. And whereas by equipping young Americans with both practical skills and broader intellectual abilities, schools give them hope for and access to a productive future. And whereas education employees, be they substitute educators, custodians, teachers, bus drivers, or librarians, work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. And whereas schools encourage community, bringing together adults and children, educators and volunteers, business leaders, and elected officials in a common enterprise. And whereas this year will be the 93rd annual observance of American Education Week, now therefore I, Joe Denoyer, Mayor of the City of Liberal, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of November the 17th to the 21st as American Education Week and urge all citizens of Liberal to honor individuals who work to make public schools great for children by raising awareness about the critical need to provide every child in Liberal with a great public education. I'm good.
I just want to kind of let the city know what we have planned. This is sponsored by NEA as the LNEA president. Next week we're doing a bunch of different things. The teachers will receive a bookmark on Monday, just talking about the importance of education. On Tuesday, we've invited our parents to come and have breakfast with their kid at their individual schools. So we're honoring parents on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we're honoring our support personnel, and they will all receive certificates signed by our NEA president and myself, just to let them know that we can't do our jobs as educators without our support personnel as well, and that goes for all support personnel. On Thursday, and actually I think it'll start on Monday, our high school education class, they made a PowerPoint presentation just talking about what it takes here in local forest or USD 480 school district, what it takes every day to educate our personnel, how many teachers, how many administrators, how many custodians and janitors and things like that we have that make our school district run. And on Friday we will be doing, we'll be supporting our substitute teachers, and they'll receive a certificate in the mail. Just there again, letting them know that we appreciate everything they're doing. And so just the whole purpose of the week is just to recognize everyone that has a part in the public education system here in the United States. So
thank you.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Daniel. All right, next item up on the agenda tonight will be the approval of the agenda.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item up on the agenda is agenda item number 3, which is approval of the October 28th regular meeting minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, I'd call for a motion.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we approve the October 30th?
28th.
28th, okay. As printed.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Williman with a second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 4, which is items from citizens. Are there any citizens in the audience that would like to address the commission on non-agenda items? Seeing none, I'll move on to agenda item number 5, items from groups. Are there any groups in the audience that would like to address the commission on non-agenda items? As you're making your way, I'll read the rules of the commission. Rules of the commission: any group desiring to address the commission shall be recognized by the chair, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address in an audible tone for the record. Presentation shall be limited to 5 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel, and the commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Groups may address the commission on agenda items as they're brought to the floor. Please state your name and address.
I'm Jack Taylor. I'm representing a group, Spirit, the Southwest Passage Initiative for Regional and Interstate Transportation. We had our 19th annual Spirit Conference in Dalhart, Texas last Thursday afternoon and Friday. And if I could, I'd like to give each one of you a copy of the agenda and the people who spoke, for their bio, and what they spoke about. We had some really good speakers this time. One and a couple of them in particular, that one was Ray Morgan with Perkins Specialized Transportation. Their office is in Minnesota, but he's out of Texas. And they design and build and put together these trucks and trailers that haul the especially long and heavy loads across the country. Larger than nearly anything we've seen here. Now, one we did see earlier in the year that went out to National Helium, but that was by one of their competitors. But he gave us an outline of what they have to go through with each one of the states, because each one of them have different regulations, the different routes they have to take, and how long they can travel at a time, and that sort of thing. We had a load that came through here just the other day on Highway 83 going north, going to Colorado, pardon me, and they turned on Highway 54 and went out to the weigh station and stayed all night out there because their hours were up. And then they left the next morning. And I asked him why they went that direction, because they went on over past Plains to 160 and then made that sharp turn and came back to Highway 83 and then on to Colorado. And he said the bridge, the bridge up north of town on Highway 54 was not structurally capable of handling the weight that they had to carry. And he said we had a choice of going the extra mileage and spending that money or building a new bridge for the state. So we chose to go that way. But had a real interesting speech. And then another one right at the very end was Dave Howard, who's the city manager at Pratt. And he talked about the impact on economic development efforts of being on or near a 4-lane highway, because they are getting that 4-lane near Pratt right now. And just wanted to give you an update on it and let you know that we had a very successful, the attendance was not what I would like to have seen, but we'll do better next year. We have not decided where it'll be next year, but from now on we'll have it on Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning rather than Thursday and Friday, because it makes it inconvenient for a lot of people to get back home on Friday. Just as a little side note that has nothing to do with highway and transportation, but as I left Dalhart, I filled up the gasoline at $2.83 a gallon. I would really like to see our price go down to match Sublette, any of the surrounding towns. But we did have a real good session down there hosted by the city of Dalhart and the XIT range. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
One little side note, you may get your kicks on 66, but there's more on 54.
All right. Next item up on the agenda is the consent agenda. Seeing there are no items, we'll move on to agenda item number 7, which will be the final reading of ordinance 4439, a rezone. Corey Kraus. Again, Corey, thank you for coming in tonight. Can't beat the shirt.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, this is the final reading of 4439, which is the rezone from C3 to an R3, or C2 to an R3, and which is for 26 South Grant. The legal is listed below. In the last 2 weeks, I have no pros or cons for or against this, and so the staff recommends that we go ahead and pass this final reading so that they can sell a house there was built in 1888.
Does the Commissioner have any questions for Corey?
Your Honor, I'd make a motion that we approve the final reading of ordinance number 4439 as recommended by the Planning Commission of the rezoning. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item up on the agenda is agenda item number 8, a first reading, of ordinance 4440, which is an annexation. Corey?
Again, this is the first reading and adoption of an ordinance for the annexation, which will be for the Western Avenue School, new school, which will be Eisenhower Middle School. There is a map in your packet that looks like this, instead of going over the legal description, which is about a mile long. The land is under one ownership right now, and this is just really a formality in order to start the project. So staff recommends that this go on to a second reading. Any questions about this annexation?
Any questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll call for a motion to advance ordinance 4440 to a second reading.
So moved.
Second. A motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
Next item up on the agenda is agenda item number 9, KDOT Project 88K-9809-01, better known as 6 Points.
Mayor, Commissioners, we have Joe Seeley present, so I'll let him answer the questions, but this started many years ago, and this project's taken many turns. In fact, you're aware of our last discussion with KDOT. It is one of those, Public Works Director Joe Seeley has continually talked to KDOT, and there was some good news that they understood where we're at and what we can and can't do. So what you have before you, and Joe will explain, and the dollar amounts and what KDOT expects from this. I wanted to make it worth your while.
Mayor, as Mark has explained, I think he's kept you abreast of the ongoing changes in this project. It got We did it 2 years ago, and it was rejected, a year and a half ago, because it was too high. Came in at 2.23 million. So we stepped back and made some revisions in the scope of the project to try to get the cost back in line. We came in this time at 1.8 something. And our initial funding was supposed to be 800,000, but as the project crept up, the commission approved 975,000. But KDOT wanted us to kick in 1.275 million, and we informed them that that wouldn't work, and left it up to them if they wanted to eliminate, kill the project. You know, we were willing to do our commitment, but they were going to have to find additional funds, or it wasn't going to be a go. They said they couldn't do it, they didn't have it, but all of a sudden they found an additional $300,000 and reduced our share from 1.275 to 875. So saved about almost $100,000 less than what the commission approved our portion.
By signing the document tonight, that will be our maximum share. Would be the
873, I think is what it was.
873 or 896?
897
Yeah, 897.
would be our maximum to the project.
Now, is
897, excuse me.
this the project that will turn 6 points to 5 points?
4 points.
4 points? Okay, perfect. All right, any questions for Joe?
When does this start?
They haven't indicated a start date, but it was looking in February.
February, they'll sign the contract. If we send this in, JAG is the contractor, they have 30 days in which to sign the contract, and then they have 90 days with which in to start, which I think will put it towards the end of February, and they're wanting something to do, so I suspect they'll start on it just pretty quick.
So there's nothing in here for signalization or anything like that?
Any other questions?
4 points, so that will eliminate
Bluebell,
Bluebell.
and Second Street or Railroad Street, whichever you prefer.
Actually reroute them, it's not eliminate them, but eliminate them from that intersection.
Yeah, okay.
All right, any further questions? Seeing no, call for the motion.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we approve the project with construction commencement to be approved by KDOT.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Willen with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Mark, for all your work for over the several years that it's
The commission
taken.
did it.
We may live long enough to see it.
Maybe. All right, next item on the agenda is the city manager's report. Mr. Hall.
Mayor, Commissioners, just kind of update on some of the things. The street department is kind of shifted for a while, getting up snow fence and preparing for the season. They've been also working somewhat out at the fields. The Parks Department's been doing their end of season work and also working out the fields. All the departments are busy. This weather, we plan to stay busy. The fields situation, we are on the irrigation on the 2 fields on 15th, and then the 4 fields, as far as the field work, is done. We'll have to do some top dressing with fertilizer and that, but as far as the fields itself, they're done, and then we'll do just a little more drainage work to finish that up. So everything's moving ahead. We're having things starting to show up. Next week will be the backstops, and we're going to have projects all through the winter and keep moving things out there. So everything's going okay as it stands right now. Just a reminder, we have taken into account whether or something should happen. Women's or high school girls softball will have a field. That will be Roswell. We know that Cal Ripken, should something happen, so that's the 1st of March. Cal Ripken's middle of April in there. Should something happen, we need to work those. We can work out their practices during the day, and then they have a limited amount of games that'll be played. And that's just the worst case scenario. As far as the men's softball field, men's softball starts the end of May. So we do have time, but want to make the commission aware that things are going along, but we still have a lot of time. So we'll get that done, and I appreciate all the departments. Everybody is, of course, end of season, and shifting gears, we're going to go in the holiday season. You will shortly see the Christmas decorations. We now always wait till after Veterans Day. Some of you are around when that happened, but we make sure that Veterans Day is over. So weather permitting and those, then you'll see the decorations go up for Christmas. But I just appreciate all that they're doing, and we plan on a busy, busy, busy winter. So we'll be very productive during the winter. If there's any questions?
Any questions for the city manager?
When's the turf going to go in?
The turf, the irrigation, and we're just going to bring it in as soon as the irrigation's done.
First, last right after Thanksgiving, if everything goes the way we think it'll go.
But we'll start putting that in, water it when we can, when the weather's not freezing. So we'll water it all through.
Any other questions? Mark, can you give an update? I know a lot of you were inconvenienced over the last couple of weeks with the testing and IN's
Yes.
immigration folks coming in and doing the testing, fingerprinting, and interviews.
Another thank you to the City Commission. This is something that's been worked on with the coalition. It's been well over 5 years in the process. Dodge City held the first of a mobile USCIS unit. We, after being in Dodge City, they came to Liberal and wanted to try something extra. They did 3 days of biometrics the first week, and we're getting the final totals from them, and it'll be a formal announcement by the commission of the total. Their goal is well over 100 through the biometrics a day, and we held that down at City Hall. Everything went well. In fact, they commented it was more inviting to the applicants for citizenship. No problems whatsoever, ran real smooth. Then the second week is the interviews, and that's getting close to the final step. It is one of those that staff offered up their offices. They thoroughly enjoyed it. Simply, it felt like an office, when it felt professional, and when the interviews were conducted, the people felt relaxed and did that. Well, we had from Texas, and Kansas, and there was one from Oklahoma. We are going to hopefully, when it's our turn again, they want to expand that to more states. So this is a real good thing for the city of Liberal. It's a good thing for the applicants that won't have to travel to Wichita or Kansas City. It is one of those, they still might, but it's an attempt to start trying to get a system that could work out here that would rotate every quarter. But we appreciate it. In fact, I had a little smiley face note left on my desk and thanking staff for their offices, and it was well conducted, and the Parks Department brought in 60 chairs. We configured them down in City Hall, and they started at 7:30 in the morning, and it just went well, and they were tickled.
Could you say what countries they were from? I know they resided in, you said Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. Is it fair to ask what countries?
Well, and that's what we'll get more details, but, because we didn't, I guess, handle the applicants, but, there was, of course, Mexico, Somalia, we had some German, there was all kinds of countries involved, and they either had to speak English or have an interpreter with them. So it was kind of neat, and we let them do their thing and didn't bother them, but it was kind of an open door all day. And I appreciate the newspaper for honoring this. It's one of those, this is something that it's not available only by appointment, and we had many calls that they'd heard and wanted to come down, and those were fielded to the Wichita office and explaining to them how to start the process. So hopefully some of those calls will turn into going to Garden City or Dodge or back when it's back in Liberal. So it was a fantastic thing.
Any more questions for the city manager? Thank you, Mark. Next item is items from commissioners. We'll start with Commissioner Williman.
Well, I have two things tonight. Joe and Mark, I have about 3 words. One is determination, dedication, and stamina for this project at 6 points. I know that you were determined, I know you were dedicated, and it took stamina to stick to your guns, and so congratulations to a job well done. I know you like to give credit to City Commission. City Commission is a voice from the voters, and a check and a balance, but the ultimate thanks goes to you two, really.
Stamina was riding on his back.
I want to say stubborn old coot too, but a very good job, well done. Appreciate it, Joe.
We can write the checks, but the commission has to make sure the money's there, so.
So that falls on Sally's department.
Well, I truly want to say thank you, because you guys really deserve that. Thanks. And the other one was just to thank the veterans, if anyone's listening in the audience. Today's a big day, and so I just want to thank all the veterans who have fought for our freedom and fought for our country, and that's really all I have tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner Williman. Commissioner Harrison.
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
Commissioner Warren.
I guess I'll just echo Janet a little bit. Want to thank the veterans that we can honor on today, and also want to thank the staff for their hard work on the ball fields and stuff. And it's going to be tough. I didn't go by to check see if anybody's working outside there today, because I was working outside somewhere else. But But I was going to ask Joe if maybe they could park all the sand trucks in a building somewhere and lock them up, and let's not have any snow this winter, because we all got too much work to do to have any. So maybe you can kind of make sure we don't have any. But that's all I got.
Thank you, Commissioner Warren. Vice Mayor Aragon.
Just echo what Ronnie and Janet said. That's a long overdue. I'm hearing about that project for a long time, so thank you, Joe and Mark. Appreciate that, and all the veterans also. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor Aragon. Again, I'd like to thank staff. You guys were inconvenienced, willingly inconvenienced to allow USCIS come in to conduct the testing, and I want to thank you for that. It's been something we've been working on as a commission, several commissions in Washington, D.C. For several years. To see it finally come to fruition is exciting, and to see it double from where it was in Dodge City to Liberal is even more exciting. We wish Garden City the best of luck as well, and hopefully we can keep this on a regular basis coming back. But you guys make it happen, and we thank you for that. The soon-to-be 4 Points intersection, that's exciting. I think that'll open up some doors for some economic development and things like that. So that's seeing that project move forward. And then also I want to thank Danny, Brad, and Chewy for their work out there at the ball fields, and all the crew that got out there and just got after it and got it done. Just a tremendous job. It's going to be exciting to see that when it is finally complete. And then I had an opportunity to visit with Cal, who came in on his day off today to deal with some water tower issues. And he was amazed that we got no complaints, no phone calls on the change of the color of the water tower. So to see that project about done is good.
It's rain.
So anyway, we've got a great staff, and I know this is, like you said, normally a slow down time, but I think in 2014 into 2015, we're going to see it step up a notch and get some more things done, and continue to see the city move forward. And in visiting with Jeff, we've got some exciting things just in the immediate future that are going to happen, that are going to change the look of this town, hopefully the attitude of this town. And it's good to see businesses opening up, Country House Buffet and all the others that have just come on their own and investing in Liberal. I want to thank them and the citizens for supporting them as well. That's all I have. Next item up is agenda item number 12, the vouchers.
Make a motion that we approve the vouchers in the amount of $511,851.57.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Warren with a second by Commissioner Williman. Any discussion on the vouchers? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item, call for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.